Hi, welcome to Highland Homesteading. Today we're going to give you a tour of our vegetable garden. So this garden is about 16 feet wide by about 32 feet long, and we have set up our beds a little bit different than most people traditionally will, and we've got some drip irrigation. So we'll show you how that works and why we set it up. So here we go. Enter through our little gate that we have here. And then, as you can see, we've got a bunch of mulch. So we have a chipper shredder and have chipped and shredded all of these little oak trees that we have here, all the clippings from them and from our parents' yards that they have. They bring over their tree trimmings, and we chip it up and put it down between the beds. So most of these beds are going to be 30 inches wide or so. So you see we've got one that's here, and then we've got 12 inch 1 foot wide space to walk down the middle of each row. So that's a 30-inch bed there. So these run north to south as well. So this is the first one on the east side, and then we got the second one that's 30 inches, and then we got a third one that's 30 inches, and then this one is only about I think it's about 18 to 20 inches, something like that. It's basically the leftover. And what I said about not traditional spacing of our beds or sizing of our beds, that basically came down to the fact that the plants last year really grew well along the walls. So whether that was because they retained heat when it was colder, or because they got a little bit more shade in the afternoon like they do on this west side, we really wanted to keep the perimeter as a bed all the way around. So that's why you see this bed becomes another bed here, and then we've got a walkway here, because we really wanted to utilize the space along the walls. So we planted this one first. You can see we have, I believe these are radishes here. My wife did most of the planting, so I'll have to see when these come up. We'll give you an update as time goes on. So if you haven't subscribed already, please click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything at all, but it really helps us out and encourages us to make more of these videos for you. So we'll do updates and show you what these plants all look like when they come up. But we've got a row here, another row here, and a third row right here. And you can see, I think these ones are charred that are coming up there. So we can take you along here, and you can see we planted some other things here, and then we got another line starting here. So planted a great variety, but most of these are cold hardy right now, being that we still get frost until about Mother's Day, so the middle of May. But we got some broccoli growing. They're starting to bolt, so we're gonna have to cut those off and see if they'll come again after we cut them off. We have some potatoes coming up here, and you can see some more there, and still some more there. So I think we got one sweet potato in there somewhere as well. But you can see we got some onions over here, and mixed in there, I think we've got some beets coming up, and we got a whole bunch of lettuce here, and kale, and purple broccoli I think is in there. I think that's what this one is. So those are the scarlet kale, and then we got some red romaine. And these beds are real nice because you can just kind of hop over like I just did. Purple sprouting broccoli, so that'll be cool to see. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, these rows are just right. We did a lot of research about the width of the rows. We got a lot of onions we just planted here, but the nice thing is that you can straddle the beds at 30 inches wide. Most people can straddle them, and you can see my shoes here on either side, and then you can just plant, right down in here with your hands, and then move up, and you can also just walk over them. So we don't have anything in this bed yet. And most of this bed is still vacant. We're planning to plant that this weekend. But right here we've got some seeds. I don't remember what they are. Got some cilantro there, another broccoli here. So these broccoli are real big because my dad grew them indoor with this hydroponic system and then handed them off to us. But here's a better look at some of our beets that are coming up. And there's some peas. So those are actually left over from our cover crop, but we decided we were lacking some fertility last year and decided that if we have more nitrogen fixers in here, it's not going to be a bad thing. So you can see there's one there and there. So those will give us extra nitrogen. If you don't know about nitrogen fixing plants, you should look that up. Legumes, which peas are, is a group that do a lot of nitrogen fixing. So you can see the sun's starting to hit here. We got a little bit of a rain last night. Here's celery that we just planted. And I think this row is pretty much vacant as well. We have some carrots planted down on the end. So we got these little signs. The marker that came with them didn't work too well, but yeah, we've got some carrots right here. And we got some little lettuce here that we picked up in a 6-pack from the Arizona worm farm, actually, which is down in South Phoenix. You can go check them out if you haven't already. So let me talk about our irrigation system here. It's in flux, so we'll do an update video just on that here real soon. But we basically have our water coming out here with there's a ball valve right down there. You can see the blue handle on it. So it's on right now, but all these valves are off. This is a manifold that came with the timer system that we're going to add here real soon. But that water actually comes from our stock tanks where we have our rainwater harvesting system. So you can click in the upper right now to check that video, and we'll put a link in the description as well. But here's the filter. So it comes in, goes into the filter. There's a pressure reducing valve. Not sure that we actually need this because it's just being gravity fed, but we have it anyway just to make sure it's at the right pressure. And then this line here goes to the garden. So you can see it goes down here. Then we got an emitter, another emitter, and we place these about every, I don't know, 12 to 14 inches, something like that. You can see it goes around the whole perimeter. And then when it gets down to here, it goes and turns back around. So you can see we've got emitters. There's an emitter, there's another one. So these are 1 gallon per hour. We have a mix of 1 gallon per hour and 2 gallon per hour. And over here with the onions, we planted them so close that we planted them about every 6 to 8 inches, something like that. We're not super exact about that, but you can see it comes back around here, up this line, and then it turns around. So there's all just one continuous line. You can see these green ones, I believe those are 2 gallon per hour emitters. So then it turns back around, it comes back up here, makes a turn. So it keeps doing that and just serpentines through the whole garden. So then when it comes out of there, this is the last line here. So this one just goes down off this T, ends down there, and that is a flush where we can actually open out the end and flush out the water at the end of the season or when it's gonna freeze. And here this line continues and it goes down here and then goes into our perennial beds. So these two are perennials. This has mostly strawberries in it. This one has 9 different asparagus that we just planted, and then it actually goes underneath our path here and over to these grapes that we've got. So we've got 6 grapes here. So they all each have an emitter on them, and they're right by our chickens. So we'll be putting up a grapevine trellis here real soon. So that's just a brief overview of our garden here in the very beginning of April. We're still getting some freeze like we said, but we really like the look of it, and we hope you do too. Well, I'm Nick from Highland Homesteading. Thanks so much for watching. We'll have more videos for you real soon.